Will the Ukraine war turn into a nuclear war? Since Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022, this question has been asked time and again. There have been provocations, attacks and retaliation, claims and counterclaims, and a series of warnings. In fact, Russia has issued a fresh one now. It comes from the Russian ambassador to Finland, Pavel Kuznetsov. In an interview with the state-run agency TASS, the ambassador issued a stern warning. He said that Russia will definitely retaliate if NATO's nuclear weapons are deployed on Finnish soil. Let me first tell you more about what he said. I'm quoting. Of course, we cannot but respond to potential decisions by the Finnish government in this sphere. Specific steps will be developed depending on real threats that these actions will pose to our security. And talking about the potential deployment of NATO nukes on Finnish soil, he said, and I'm quoting further, the Finns cannot but realize that such a major provocation will not be left without a Russian response. However, we expect that common sense would prevail. Not just that, the ambassador also said that the relationship between Russia and Finland cannot go back to the way it used to be, at least for now. Now, here's a quick backgrounder. Let me take you back to April 2023. That's when Finland formally became a member of the NATO. This was more than just an addition to the military alliance. You see, Finland joining the NATO was significant for multiple reasons. Sweden and Finland applied to join the military alliance in May 2022. This was, of course, after Russia invaded Ukraine. And one of the biggest reasons why this was a huge move was that for decades, these two countries had been neutral. And Russia back then called the addition a dangerous historic mistake that would force Moscow to take countermeasures. In fact, the Russian defense minister, Sergei Shoigu, back then said that Finland joining the NATO raised the prospect of the conflict in Ukraine escalating further. The Kremlin spokesman, meanwhile, that time said, Dmitry Peskov, saying that Moscow would watch closely for any NATO military deployments in Finland. And as for NATO, the Secretary General then had said that Russia invaded Ukraine over the eastward expansion of NATO and that in reality the invasion triggered what Russia was supposedly fearing. For Finland, it was the beginning of a new era. Now, cut to 2024. Just last month, the Russian President Vladimir Putin called Finland's addition to the NATO a senseless step that made him send weapons to the border. And in the latest, the Russian ambassador to Finland has some tough words. What if nuclear weapons were placed on Finnish soil? How would Russia retaliate? And what would that mean for the situation on the ground? Would that turn this war into a nuclear war? You see, NATO members also have to provide military aid to other members if there is an attack, which basically means that if Russia takes action against, say, Finland, Russia risks a bigger conflict. And that is the last thing the world needs right now. With the Israel-Hamas war already increasingly showing signs of turning into a wider war, like we just told you, here's hoping common sense will prevail. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.